Have you ever wondered why, in the middle of all the confusion about attraction, dating, and relationships, some men seem to have this invisible magnetism? Like, they walk into a room and without saying much, women lean in, listen, and feel connected. And maybe you've asked yourself, what do they have that I don't? What secret do they know that nobody told me? Because let's be honest, we live in a world where everyone claims to have the formula, the hack, or the secret trick to make a woman attracted to you. Some will tell you it's about looks, others will say it's about money. Others will claim it's about how smooth your words are. But deep down, you know there's more to it. And today, I'm about to reveal to you that if you truly want a woman to open up to you, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, there is one thing you must be able to say. And no, it's not the pickup line you think. It's not about pretending. It's not about manipulation. It's not even about how many gifts you buy or how many compliments you give. It's about something deeper, something that goes straight into the human heart. When I first discovered this, I'll be honest, I doubted it. I thought no way it could be that simple. No way one thing could change everything. But as I grew, observed, learned, and yes, made a lot of mistakes, I realized the truth. It is often the smallest shift that opens the biggest doors. See, most men spend their whole lives chasing validation. They buy the car, they wear the cologne, they memorize the lines. They watch endless videos online trying to figure out the perfect thing to say. But let me tell you something, powerful attraction isn't about tricks. It's about truth. It's about alignment between what you say and who you are. So, when I tell you that there's one thing you can say to a woman that can make her want to be with you intimately, don't think of it as a magic spell. Think of it as the verbal key that unlocks the door, and only if you carry it with sincerity. Now, let me share a personal story. There was a time in my life when I believed confidence was about acting tough. I thought women wanted the guy who never showed weakness, who always had the right answer, who never hesitated. And so I played that role. I pretended to always be in control. But you know what? It didn't work. Because while I looked confident on the outside, deep down I wasn't connected. I wasn't grounded in truth. And women, whether they admit it or not, have an incredible radar for authenticity. They can feel when you're not real. One night, I met someone who changed everything. We were talking, laughing, and I felt that old pressure. You know, the voice in your head that says, don't mess this up. Say the right thing. Don't show weakness. But instead of playing the role, I said something I had never said before. I looked at her and with honesty, I admitted, you know, I don't have all the answers. I'm just figuring it out like everyone else. And in that moment, instead of pushing her away, it drew her closer. She smiled, not the polite smile, but the smile of recognition. The smile that says, finally, someone real. That night, I discovered that the greatest secret isn't about being perfect. It's about being truthful. So what is this one thing you can say to a woman that makes her want you? That makes her feel safe enough, comfortable enough, and drawn enough to be intimate with you. It's not, I love you. It's not, you're beautiful. It's not even, I want you. It's, I see you. That's it. 3 words. But let me explain why these words hold so much power. Because every woman, every human being, really, is walking through life carrying unseen battles, silent questions, and hidden doubts. And in a world full of noise, what she craves most is to be seen. Not for her body, not for her beauty, not for what she can give, but for who she is. When you tell a woman sincerely that you see her, when you reflect back her essence, when you acknowledge her humanity, when you notice the details others overlook, you are doing something 90% of men never do. You are connecting on the deepest level. And once that connection is formed, intimacy flows naturally. You don't have to chase it, beg for it, or manipulate your way into it. It happens because she feels safe. She feels chosen. She feels valued. Now, don't get me wrong. Saying, I see you, isn't about parroting words. It's not about memorizing lines. It's about presence. It's about putting down your phone, turning off distractions, and truly observing her, noticing her smile when she's excited, her silence when she's hurt, her passion when she talks about her dreams. When you show her that you see her uniqueness, her energy, her heart, that's when she opens up. But here's the problem: most men don't even see themselves. They are so caught up in proving, competing, comparing that they've lost touch with their own truth. And if you can't see yourself, how can you see her? That's why the journey begins with you. Gentlemen, listen to me. Women don't want the man who has everything figured out. They don't want the flawless hero. They want the man who is real enough to notice, brave enough to connect, and honest enough to be present. When you can say with your eyes, your words, your actions, I see you. You've already unlocked the door to her heart, her trust, and yes, her desire. So the next time you're with a woman, instead of scrambling for lines, instead of trying to impress, slow down, look at her, really look, and then tell her not just with words, but with presence, I see you. Because if you want her to sleep with you, if you want her to let you into the most sacred part of her being, you have to go beyond the surface. You have to give her what the world rarely gives recognition, safety, authenticity. And once you do that, you'll realize the truth. It was never about tricks, never about lines, never about games. It was about connection all along. Now, let's be real for a moment. If it were as simple as saying 3 words, I see you, then every man would be successful in love, attraction, and intimacy. But here's the catch. Most men don't actually know how to mean it. They can say the words, but the energy behind them doesn't land. Why? Because of the problem I mentioned earlier. Men today are disconnected from themselves, from women, from the reality of what genuine attraction requires. Think about it. We live in a time where social media bombards us with images of perfect men, ripped bodies, luxury cars, money flashing on screens. And on the flip side, endless dating advice videos tell you to memorize strategies. Say this line: don't text back for 3 hours. Pretend you're busy. Act like you don't care. But here's the truth, all of that is noise. It's like decorating a house whose foundation is crumbling. Because no matter how polished your words are, no matter how sharp your suit is, no matter how expensive your dinner date is, if she doesn't feel seen, she will not truly give herself to you. She may spend time with you. She may entertain you, but her heart, her trust, her intimacy, that stays locked away. And here's where so many men get it wrong. They believe intimacy is purely physical. They think it's about convincing, persuading, or pushing until she finally gives in. But real intimacy is not about her body first. It's about her trust. And trust only grows when she feels recognized beyond the surface. Let me break it down. A woman lives in a world that constantly tries to define her worth by appearances. From a young age, she is judged on how she looks, how she dresses, how pretty she is. She carries the weight of expectations. Be successful, but not intimidating. Be beautiful, but not too vain. Be independent, but not too strong. And because of this, most men approach her from the same shallow lens, complimenting her body, her beauty, her style. While she might smile, deep down she knows that's not seeing her. That's just noticing her packaging. And this is the problem. If every man is telling her she's beautiful, why would your compliment matter? If every man is chasing her body, why would she give hers to you? What sets you apart is not what you say about her looks. It's what you notice about her soul. When you tell her, I see you, and back it up with real presence, you rise above the noise. Suddenly, you're not just another man in her inbox, not just another face at the bar, not just another guy asking for her number. You become the man who notices the detail that nobody else did. The way her eyes light up when she talks about her dream, the way her laugh changes when she's really comfortable, the way she gets quiet when something's bothering her. That's when she thinks to herself, finally, someone gets me. Someone actually sees me. And I'll tell you this, when a woman feels that kind of recognition, her walls come down. And when her walls come down, intimacy isn't forced. It's invited. It's her choice, freely given, because she feels safe enough to let you in. But let's zoom out for a moment. Why is it so hard for men to truly see women? The answer is simple, because many men don't see themselves. You've been taught since childhood to hide your feelings, to man up, to never show weakness. You've been told that success is about money, cars, muscles, dominance. And so you've trained yourself to look outward, not inward. You know how to chase, how to perform, how to show off, but you don't know how to be still and notice. But here's the paradox. The very thing you've been told to suppress, your ability to be present, to feel, to observe, is the exact thing that makes you magnetic. Women are not drawn to men who are the loudest, the flashiest, or the fakest. They are drawn to men who are grounded, who see themselves clearly, and therefore can see others clearly too. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 men approach the same woman. The first man is polished, sharp suit, confident smile, rehearsed lines. He says all the right things, but she can sense it's a performance. He's speaking at her, not to her. He notices her looks, but not her essence. Now the second man comes along. He doesn't have a script. He doesn't even have the flashiest clothes. But he looks at her, not in the hungry way that objectifies, but in the curious way that honors. He asks her about her passion, and when she answers, he actually listens. He leans in not to impress, but to understand. And when she shares something vulnerable, he doesn't judge or interrupt. He simply says, I see you. I get it. Who do you think she feels safer with? Who do you think she feels drawn to? Who do you think she would trust enough to invite into her space, her heart, her body? It's not the man with the lines. It's the man with the presence. Now, here's where you might ask, but isn't that too simple? Can 3 words really shift everything? And I'll tell you, yes and no. Yes, the words are powerful, but only when backed with authenticity. No, they won't work if you use them like a trick, like a shortcut, like another strategy to get her. Because women are intuitive. They can sense the difference between manipulation and sincerity. So the real work is not in memorizing the words, but in becoming the kind of man who can say them truthfully. And that requires courage. Courage to slow down. Courage to listen. Courage to notice. Courage to be present. Because presence is rare in today's world. Most people are distracted, scrolling, rushing, multitasking. But when you give a woman your full attention, when you truly see her, she feels something she hasn't felt in a long time: chosen. And let me tell you this, when a woman feels chosen, when she feels recognized, when she feels safe, intimacy is not just possible, it's inevitable. But here's the kicker. This doesn't just apply to attraction, it applies to life. When you learn how to truly see people, you transform your relationships, your business, your friendships, even the way you see yourself. You stop living on the surface and start living in depth. And depth is where connection thrives. So yes, the one thing you must tell her is simple: I see you. But the journey to truly meaning it is what separates the men who struggle from the men who thrive. Gentlemen, if you can master this, you won't need to chase intimacy. It will come to you because women will feel something around you they rarely feel anywhere else: seen, valued, safe. And when a woman feels those things, her desire awakens naturally. Not forced, not manipulated, but invited. That is the power of presence. That is the secret most men will never understand. We've uncovered the problem: men are distracted, disconnected, and conditioned to chase all the wrong things. And we've also uncovered the truth. The one phrase that unlocks connection is, I see you. But now comes the most important part. How do you actually apply this in your life? How do you transform from the man who's overlooked, ignored, or put in the friend zone into the man she trusts, desires, and chooses? The answer lies in learning the art of presence. Presence is not just about being physically there. It's about being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually tuned in. It's about giving your full attention, your full energy, your full awareness to the moment and to the person in front of you. And when you master presence, your words, your actions, your vibe all communicate something powerful: I see you. Before you can look a woman in the eyes and make her feel truly seen, you must start with yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot recognize someone else's soul if you've ignored your own. Ask yourself, do I really know who I am? Do I see my strengths, my flaws, my dreams, my fears? Or have I been hiding behind masks, pretending to be someone I'm not? Because here's the truth: authenticity attracts authenticity. If you are fake with yourself, you will be fake with her. But if you're real with yourself, she will feel that realness instantly. So start by stripping away the lies you've believed about what makes you attractive. It's not the car. It's not the 6-pack. It's not the expensive watch. Those things might get attention, but they won't earn intimacy. What earns intimacy is authenticity. Look in the mirror and practice seeing yourself. Tell yourself the truth. This is who I am. This is where I shine. This is where I struggle. And that's okay. When you can hold your own reflection without shame, you build the foundation to see her without judgment. The fastest way to show someone you see them is to listen. Really listen. Not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak. Not the kind of listening where you're distracted by your phone or by the thoughts in your head, but the kind of listening where you put everything else aside and tune in. When she speaks, don't just hear her words. Hear her tone. Notice her body language. Watch her eyes. Listen for what she's saying beneath the surface. Is she excited, nervous, holding something back? Most men listen to respond, but powerful men listen to understand. And when a woman feels understood, she feels seen. So next time you're with her, practice silence. Resist the urge to interrupt. Let her speak, and when she's done, reflect back what you heard. Simple phrases like, so what you're saying is, or that must have felt like. Make her realize you're not just hearing her, you're understanding her. And that's rare. That's magnetic. Anyone can notice a woman's beauty, but not everyone can notice the details that make her unique. That's where the magic lies. Pay attention to her habits, her quirks, the way she talks about things that matter to her. Does she always smile when she mentions her family? Does her voice soften when she talks about her dreams? Does she get a certain look in her eyes when she's passionate about something? When you mention those little things back to her, she feels recognized in a way few men ever give her. She thinks, wow, he really notices me. He really gets me. That's when trust deepens. That's when intimacy grows. And finally, when the moment is right, say the words. Look at her, pause, and let it land. I see you. Don't rush it. Don't overdo it. Don't make it a cheesy line. Let it come naturally from a place of truth. Maybe she just shared something vulnerable. Maybe she opened up about her fears. Maybe she talked about her dreams. That's the moment to let her know I see you. Not just your body, not just your beauty, but you, the real you. Those words, spoken at the right time with sincerity, have more power than 1,000 compliments, because they go straight to her soul. Now, here's what happens when you begin to live this way. At first, you'll notice women reacting differently around you. They'll lean in more. They'll share more. They'll feel safe in your presence because you're not rushing, not pushing, not pretending. You're present. Soon, you'll realize you don't need to chase intimacy anymore. You don't need to force it, manipulate it, or beg for it. It comes naturally. Why? Because you've tapped into the universal truth. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen. Think about the best relationships you've ever had, romantic, platonic, or even professional. What made them special? It wasn't just the surface level fun. It was the feeling of being understood, valued, recognized. That's what bonds last. That's what makes connections unforgettable. And here's where the transformation gets even bigger. Once you practice truly seeing women, you'll start seeing everyone. You'll notice your friends more deeply. You'll notice your family in ways you didn't before. You'll notice opportunities, beauty, lessons all around you. Your entire world expands because your awareness sharpens. This is why I say attraction is not about tricks. It's about truth. It's about who you become. When you become the man who sees, the man who listens, the man who notices, you're not just more attractive to women. You're more powerful in every area of life. Because confidence doesn't come from pretending to be perfect. It comes from being present enough to connect. And presence doesn't just make women want to be with you. It makes people trust you, respect you, and follow you. Now let me give you a vision. Imagine walking into a room. Other men are trying too hard, loud jokes, flashy clothes, fake bravado. But you don't need any of that. You walk in calm, grounded, aware. You take your time. You notice the energy. And when you speak to a woman, you don't try to impress her. You try to understand her. Within minutes, she feels different around you. She doesn't feel judged. She doesn't feel pressured. She feels seen. And that's when she leans closer. That's when her guard melts. That's when she thinks, I want to be near him. That's not game. That's not luck. That's presence. And it's available to every man who's willing to do the work. So if you truly want a woman to sleep with you, if you want her to open herself up fully, it's not about chasing. It's about seeing. Seeing her, seeing yourself, seeing the moment for what it really is. Because here's the ultimate truth: intimacy is not something you take. It's something she gives. And she only gives it when she feels safe, valued, and recognized. And the fastest, simplest, most powerful way to give her that feeling is to look at her with sincerity and say, I see you. So far, we've uncovered the secret. We've talked about the problem, the solution, and the transformation that comes when you learn to truly see. But now I want to leave you with something deeper, a challenge. Because knowing the truth is not enough. Understanding the principle is not enough. You can't just nod your head and say, yeah, that makes sense. Then walk away unchanged. If you want results, if you want women to respond to you differently, if you want intimacy to flow into your life naturally, you must apply this. You must embody it. You must practice it every single day until it becomes who you are. And that begins right now. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the last time you were with a woman. Whether it was a date, a conversation, or just a casual interaction. Be honest with yourself. Were you really present? Were you really listening? Or were you distracted by what you were going to say next? Were you busy calculating how to impress her, how to not look nervous, how to make sure you win her attention? If you're honest, most of the time you weren't seeing her. You were seeing yourself. You were caught in your own head, your own fears, your own strategies. And that's why it didn't connect. That's why it felt forced, awkward, or incomplete. Now imagine if you had done it differently. Imagine if instead of performing, you slowed down. Imagine if you put away the mental script, the ego, the pressure, and just looked at her. Really looked. Imagine if you said with your eyes, your silence, your presence, I see you. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to impress me. You're already enough. Do you realize how powerful that would be? Do you realize how rare that is in her world? Because every day, women are bombarded with shallow attention, compliments on their looks, DMs from strangers, Conversations where the man only hears half of what she's saying. Do you understand how refreshing it is to meet a man who slows down, notices, and listens? That man stands out immediately. That man doesn't blend into the crowd. That man doesn't get ignored. That man is unforgettable. And here's the truth, you can become that man, but only if you decide to live differently. Make no mistake, this takes courage. It's not easy to look someone in the eye and really see them. It's not easy to quiet your ego, to let go of the act, to stop hiding behind strategies. Because seeing someone requires vulnerability. It requires putting yourself in the moment without armor. But let me ask you, what do you really have to lose? You've already tried the other way. You've tried pretending, performing, playing games. Did it work? Maybe for a night, maybe for a moment, but not for the deep, lasting connection you crave. So isn't it time to try something different? Isn't it time to step out of the noise, out of the games, out of the performance, and into truth? Because women are not looking for perfect. They're not looking for a robot who says all the right lines. They're looking for human connection. They're looking for authenticity. They're looking for someone who sees them in a way the world doesn't. That could be you, if you're willing to be courageous enough to see. Here's what will happen when you make this shift. At first, it might feel strange. You'll want to fall back into old habits, interrupting, overthinking, trying to be impressive. But the more you practice presence, the more natural it becomes. And then something incredible happens. Women start reacting to you differently. Suddenly, conversations flow effortlessly. You don't have to push. You don't have to force. She opens up, she shares, she laughs, she leans in. Why? Because she feels safe, she feels seen. And when she feels that, desire follows naturally. You don't need to manipulate her into bed. You don't need to convince her. She chooses it. She chooses you. Because desire rooted in trust is the strongest desire of all. That's when you realize you never had to chase, you only had to see. But let me take this even further, because this lesson isn't just about intimacy with women. It's about the way you live your life. When you learn to see, you transform everything. You notice opportunities others miss. You notice the beauty in moments others overlook. You notice your own growth, your own progress, your own potential in ways you couldn't before. And people feel it. They feel that when they're around you, they matter. They feel that you're not just waiting for your turn to speak, but you're truly with them. That energy draws not just women, but everyone. Friends, mentors, business partners. Because people are starving to be seen, and the man who can offer that is magnetic everywhere he goes. So yes, if you want a woman to sleep with you, tell her one thing, I see you. But don't just say it, live it, practice it. Embody, let it shape the way you connect, the way you listen, the way you love. Now I'm asking you to make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Decide that you will no longer chase intimacy with tricks, games, or performances. Decide that you will no longer live on the surface, pretending to be someone you're not. Decide that you will be the man who sees. Start small. Tonight, when you're with someone, anyone, practice presence. Put down your phone, listen deeply, notice the details. And when the moment is right, let them know, I see you. Do it with your friends, do it with your family, do it with strangers. And when you're with a woman, do it with her. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And soon you won't have to force it. You won't have to remember it. It will simply be who you are. You will become the man who sees. And when you become that man, intimacy is no longer a struggle. It flows naturally. Because women will sense something in you that they crave but rarely find: recognition, safety, connection. So let me leave you with this. Every day you're faced with a choice. You can continue down the same path, playing games, chasing validation, living on the surface. Or you can step into truth. You can become the man who doesn't need tricks, because he carries the most powerful gift of all, presence. And with that presence, you look at her, not just at her body, not just at her beauty, but at her soul. And you say, I see you. Those 3 words can change everything. They can open the door to intimacy, to trust, to connection deeper than you've ever experienced. But only if you're brave enough to mean them. So today, I challenge you, stop pretending, stop performing, and start seeing. Because the moment you truly see her, she will want to be with you. Not because you chased her, not because you tricked her, but because you gave her what every heart is longing for, to be seen. That is the secret. That is the truth. That is the one thing.